And this is like, it just puts the Wii U to shame. It's amazing. Hey everybody, I'm Jammer, and I have a Nintendo Switch. I can't believe it. I can't believe it is finally out. But I have no Zelda, which is such a bummer. But anyways, today I kind of wanted to give my first impressions on the console itself, what I've played of it, because I have Snipperclips, I have like Shovel Knight, Spectre, Torment, so I've been playing with a lot. But of course I don't have any Zelda, because, oh my gosh, dumbest thing ever. I'll tell you the story real quick. So basically, I ordered with GameStop online, because that's just like the pre-order that came up, and I knew I couldn't make it in store to get it in time. Master Edition came out, I'm like, of course I'm pre-ordering this. The Saturday before the release, they were processing the order, so your cards and whatnot would get charged. And I got charged for the Switch, but I didn't get charged for Zelda. For some reason, there were two different orders. It was such a mess with them. Anyways, I get the notification from my card saying, oh, fraudulent charge from GameStop.com, because it was two separate orders that were, you know, over $100. So I don't blame them for kind of flagging it. I call card, say, hey, it was fine. They clear it. They take the hold off. Then I call back to GameStop and, hey, recharge me. Everything's fine. So they say they do. I see it appear on my card. So everything should have been okay, right? Thursday, the evening before the Switch comes out, I get a shipment confirmation for the Switch, but not Zelda. They charge my card for the Switch, but not Zelda. I call up GameStop, like, hey, what's going on? Why haven't you charged my card? They're like, oh, don't worry, by the end of the day, call back at like 7. Call back at 7. Hey, you still haven't charged me. Don't worry, you paid for first day, 1 day shipping, you will get it March 3rd. Morning of March 3rd, no shipment of Zelda. Hey, what is going on? Ship my game! They're like, don't worry, you paid for 1 day shipping, it will arrive by the end of the day. I'm like, there's no way in heck. My Switch was in like Kentucky or something like that, that's what they said. It took, you know, the whole day to get over here. I finally almost didn't even get my Switch. Honestly, UPS delivered it probably like, cause I think they stopped delivering at like 7 or something like that. I got it like 6:45, which I was so scared I wasn't even gonna get. I was losing hope at that moment. But even like 2 hours before that, at like 5 o'clock, I get home from being out all day. No confirmation for Zelda. I'm like, there's no way it's coming today. Call them up. I'm like, this is ridiculous. You guys didn't ship Zelda. I called you later like 5 times. Like, oh, there must have been an error at the warehouse, blah, blah, blah. So I'm playing my Switch that night, whatever. Before I go to bed at like 11 or so, I check my phone. Shipping confirmation for Zelda. You'll get it March 6th. I'm like, oh my god, really? Why? That is so annoying. I called so many times. So I'll be getting it tomorrow, probably by the end of the day, probably around 6:45, just like the last one. Which, whatever, it's 1 more day, but I still haven't played Zelda. I have a buddy of mine who has it on Wii U right now, and I'm so tempted to just go over there and watch him play it, but I really want to experience it for myself. I've been remaining so spoiler-free, I cannot wait. So anyways, that story out of the way, I want to talk about my first impressions of the console itself, because of course all the playtime I've had with it. One thing I first have to say, the UI, oh my gosh, that thing it's lightning quick. I'm actually might be doing a speed comparison thing-ish video, comparing the Wii U to the Switch, because like, jumping to the back to the home menu, going into settings and stuff like that, it's instantaneous. It's like a smartphone or whatever. It's how a UI should work. It really, I never thought the Wii U was that bad until now using the Switch. I'm like, wow, that's a world of a difference. World of a difference. Jumping to your home menu. Another thing, yeah, taking screenshots. Those are a lot of fun. It's basically like Miiverse, except it's not locked into a Nintendo sanctioned basically social media platform. Well, now I can take screenshots and post them to Twitter or wherever, basically, which is awesome. One thing I guess I will miss about Miiverse is basically because if you post about Majora's Mask 64, the people who are going to see that message are people who are playing that game currently or actively looking up messages about that game. While when I post like a funny screenshot of Shovel Knight to Twitter, that'll go out to, you know, who's following over there, but it won't go out to people who are looking specifically for pictures and stuff like that about Shovel Knight. Unless, you know, of course you hashtag it, but then it kind of gets lost in the big wideness of the internet. So that's the thing I will miss about Miiverse. It's more specific to the game, I guess. But I think it's better in this instance. Another thing I've been playing with a lot is tabletop mode. I brought it to a bunch of friends' house the other night, and we were having a blast. Like, you know, you take off the little controller, it comes off in a cinch. Ready? Done. Switch controller off. And it is surprisingly, okay, first of all, it is so much more smaller than it looks in like camera and stuff like that. Like, I'm sure if you watch unboxing and you haven't played it yet, you really don't understand how small this thing is. Like, you can see size comparisons all you want, but you'll never really understand how small. Like, honestly, I can hide this controller behind my hand. That's unbelievable. And you would think that like this would be so uncomfortable, but really, it's not as bad as it looks at first glance. To be like truly honest, we were playing Shovel Knight co-op, which again is kind of obviously hard using a controller stick rather than a D-pad because it's a platformer. What do you expect? But it wasn't awful. Like we still had a lot of fun playing co-op. We played at least a few hours of it, and it was a lot of fun. I even had one of my friends who's primarily an Xbox fan. Really doesn't play Nintendo. He played it growing up, but hasn't gotten into it in years, you know. And after playing it for a while, I'm like, so what do you think? He's like, you know what? I'm very impressed. That is a cool piece of technology. He's like, honestly, if the right games came to that Switch, I would be very tempted to pick that thing up. And that's saying something coming from him because he was never planning on getting a Switch ever. But he's like, now I've seen it hands-on, he's like, that's really cool. And it's so much fun. The Switch was totally made for that little for the local co-op wherever you want, and that's what we were doing. We were out of the house, we were out at a freaking coffee shop playing. It was so much fun. That's the thing about the Switch that I talked about a lot in my previous video. It has so much potential to be so great. Just with its already built-in hardware, just so many ideas can come from it. I had so much fun playing like that. And then playing at home alone, so I don't have a Pro Controller or anything like that. So again, trying to play Shovel Knight and Spectre Knight, I was using this fake D-pad, which is really just another set of buttons. But it wasn't too bad. I mean, if you position your thumb just right in the middle of it, you can kind of emulate a D-pad. I guess it won't be as perfect as using a traditional D-pad. That's one thing I guess I do kind of miss about using the Joy-Cons, you know, in a sense. But that is game-by-game specific, which most games nowadays are 3D, where you'll be using a control stick anyway, like Zelda or Mario, Splatoon, you know. It makes more sense to have that there. I would love to see someday down the line, either an accessory you can pop it onto these buttons and then put a D-pad onto it, maybe, or even a Joy-Con that has a D-pad here, which if you did do that, it would kind of limit the ability to play multiplayer, because then you can, like, local multiplayer, I guess, because if there's a D-pad there, not buttons. But I don't know, that's one thing I do kind of miss, and that's what's really tempting me to get a Pro Controller. Since I can't play Zelda, I don't really know how it feels to play that on Zelda versus playing it with a Pro Controller. I haven't really I think I will end up, I mean, I'm gonna get one eventually, obviously, but I didn't know if it was gonna be necessary just yet, but now that, I mean, Shovel Knight's the only game, and Snipperclips, I guess, that I can be playing, I gotta need a D-pad. But it's been okay so far. And speaking of Snipperclips, that game is hilarious fun. I had a friend who's so skeptical about, he came over and we were just playing Smash on the Wii U, and that was the night actually the Switch came in. It was an awesome night. Anyways, we were kind of going back and forth, playing Smash a little bit. I'm like, okay, Snipperclips is downloaded. Let's try it out. And he was like, this doesn't look that great. Come on, let's just go back to Smash. Because he's a huge Smash guy. He'd play, let's play nothing but, basically. Anyway, I convinced him to play it. And we played, like, at least the first 3 or 4 levels. And he's like, you know what? I can see the appeal of this. This is pretty fun. Especially because we were getting kind of competitive and, like, cutting each other, you know, and like chopping each other into pieces. It was pretty funny. I think Nick and I plan on doing either a gameplay or a live stream of it. I haven't really decided which of the two is the better idea. But regardless, I really hope Nick and I plan to play it for you guys pretty soon. Another thing, so like, it's like always in sleep mode, basically. And I don't even know how to actually turn it off. I'm assuming if you like hold the power button long enough, it'll turn off. But like, this console really seems like it's meant to be in sleep mode, like the majority. I'm just gonna leave this in my lap. I keep putting it on this table over here. I think it's very similar to like a phone or a tablet where you don't really turn it off that frequently. You usually just slap it in sleep mode or then charge it, of course. I think there's a way to turn it off. I know there's probably a way, but I think it's very interesting that like, and also, by the way, we played it probably all day yesterday. I mean, separated in like hour chunks anyways. And I probably went down, we were playing obviously just Shovel Knight and Snipperclips, so nothing too intensive on the battery, but honestly, we went down like 87%. And I was charging these controllers the whole time. Like, we'd take them off, we'd play it, then I'd snap them back on afterwards. So, I was pretty impressed on how well the battery life is. So the next thing I gotta talk about is the dock. The dock is so tiny. I mean, basically, it is just a piece of plastic kind of holding it up with a charger stand sticking up in the middle of it, and then there's just 2 cords come out really back. It's really light. It's like practically hollow, but there's a little bit of technology going on there. One thing I did notice is the so it comes with a USB-C charger, and in order to run it in the dock, you have to have it plugged in to the wall to output it to the TV, I guess. So basically, it kind of makes sense to get a separate charger outside of the one that comes with the Switch. I'm looking down because it's right here. That's why I keep so it makes sense to get another separate charger outside of the one that comes with it, just because, I mean, because then you can have one permanently plugged into your dock, and then you can also have one to take with you on the go when you need to charge it whenever you're out and about. Granted, you can keep unplugging it, replugging it in every time you want to leave and come back, but that's just really cumbersome and annoying. So it kind of makes sense to get that. You don't really need, you technically don't need the official Nintendo license one. You can get really any USB-C cord, and it should assumedly work. I mean, I haven't necessarily tested it, but I mean, it's the same plug, so it should make sense, right? One thing that's great, though, is the charging cable. It doesn't have that annoying big block that's in the back of the frickin'... I have no room in the back of my entertainment center, because I have, like, the Wii, the Wii U, PlayStation 2 or something. There's a bunch of boxes back there for the little, you know, goes cord, box thing, and then a cord into the console. This is just, there's a little bit bigger box that goes onto the wall. So it definitely needs a designated outlet spot, but it's not too bad. But one thing about it, though, it is pretty short. It reaches enough to reach to where my entertainment center, like how it weaves around and stuff like that. But it's like, it's shorter than I definitely expected. Like a lot of my other cords, there's like a ton of access hanging out in the back, which I guess is a good thing because there's not much access. But like it just barely, I mean, it's not too short, but it just barely fits perfectly. One thing I have noticed, there's only been two problems I've been having so far. Otherwise, flawless experience. eShop been downloading like instantly, at least because I've gotten smaller games, so I don't know how it would be if I was downloading Zelda or something. But everything else has been working fine. But two things I'm having a problem with. Wi-Fi connection. So, this might be just my scenario, because maybe it's in my entertainment center weird or something like that. But for some reason, like, if I don't have it properly put in there in a specific way, I tend to get a lower Wi-Fi or even no Wi-Fi signal. Which is strange, because I mean, my Wii U's in there, and I get perfect signal in there. Well, relatively perfect. I mean, you always get lag. But I've had no problems with my Wii U where I've lost connection entirely. And they're literally right next to each other. It could be just because the Switch is a smaller unit and it's got maybe that plastic dock around it and it could be hindering the signal somehow. Or maybe it's just like its position in the... Because I had it deep at first. I kind of brought it out a little bit more so then it could hopefully reach the signal better. And I've had no problem since, but that's one thing I've kind of noticed that's like a little bit weird. I'm not sure. It should be just on my end. I just user error. Oh well. Then the other thing is... So, changing the controllers and stuff like that, they did their best. They did a really good job, basically making it so you can switch controller configurations with ease, basically. Because there's a touchscreen button right on the thing where you can change the grip order and change what type of control style you're using. Whether it being two Joy-Cons at once, or two separate Joy-Cons, or even just one Joy-Con like this. But I've had a weird problem where sometimes I'm clicking R on both of them, and only one registers and the one other doesn't. Or neither are registered. I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, it might be that the controller kind of went into sleep mode and turned off. Granted, I've only been having these problems because at least yesterday, I was frequently changing control schemes from two co-op controllers to just both of them at the same time as one person. So maybe that could have been confusing it a lot. Granted, both of these problems are very minor. This problem is showing up a little more predominantly than the other one. Even just barely before this video, I was going to play a little bit of Shovel Knight, and only the left, they were both snapped in. And only the left Joy-Con was registering, and not the right one. The other one was just like turned off for some reason. I don't know if it like was out of battery and died, but it was charged. It was clicked in. So I mean, this might be just some bug. I mean, it's the launch of a new console, so I'm sure it might be some just little bug or something like that they can easily fix. So it's nothing to worry about. But I mean, I guess speaking of Joy-Cons and everything, I've tested the behind the back and like obstructing the left Joy-Con and right for that matter. And granted, maybe my setup is closer to the Switch, but I've had zero problems with connectivity issues. Like, I've seen a bunch of them where they're almost at like 10 feet away, and that's where they seem to have the issues. My setup, I'm not 10 feet away. I'm a lot closer. Maybe that's bad for my eyes. Yeah. But I've had zero issues. Even putting it behind my back, I could have the full circle keep going, which was interesting. But again, it was probably just because I am closer to the television and the Switch itself. But yeah, overall, I really have been enjoying my Switch. I can't wait to get Zelda first of all, so I can actually play that game. But so far, I mean, everyone I showed it to, too, has been really excited. I showed it to another one of my acquaintances who, honestly, he could care less about Nintendo stuff. And I'm like, dude, check this out. He's like, I'm not a Nintendo fan. I'm like, but it's at least cool. He's like, you know what? I can at least give you that. It is pretty cool. And yeah, it is slick. It is thin. It's still mind-blowing that... Hang on. It is still mind-blowing that this hunk of a junk is like... Essentially, yeah, this Switch is small. This is just the controller, too. The big box is over there. And this is smaller and more powerful. And this is like, it just puts the Wii U to shame. It's amazing. Anyways, that's my preliminary thoughts on the Switch. Let me know in the comments. If you guys have a Switch, let me know what you guys think so far of this console. I've talked about this thing to death, but now that I've finally had hands-on time about it, my perspective is really not changed. It's very different from talking about the Switch and never playing it to then being able to play it and like feeling how big those Joy-Cons are. How, like that 720, I know it's a 720 screen, but it looks clean. It is so crisp. I love that screen on the Switch is amazing. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about your Switch, or if you don't have the Switch yet, let me know why. I mean, I totally understand, and it makes total sense why not to get a Switch at launch. If Zelda isn't that important to you to get on the Switch, or if you'd rather just get on the Wii U, it makes total sense. Splatoon 2 or Mario Kart 8 isn't enough to push you over the edge. Yeah, definitely makes. Same thing with Mario. That's what I'm gonna say to everyone I've been showing this to. I'm like, I'm not telling you to get it at launch, but would you get this if it had the killer app that you wanted? And most of them have been saying yes. So once the game comes out that you want for the Switch, I highly recommend you getting it, definitely. So yeah, give this video a big, awesome like, and if you haven't already, subscribe for tons on the Nintendo Switch. Breath of the Wild, when I get that tomorrow, finally. I think I'm gonna be doing a review of, well, I'm gonna do that, I think I'm gonna do that loading comparison video, probably actually tomorrow, on Monday. And then, Tuesday, I think I might live stream, I don't know what I'll live stream, something, but I usually live stream on Tuesdays. And I think I will have a review, I think I'm going to review, Spectre of Torment, of the Shovel Knight game, because I'm almost done with that, so I think I could output a review pretty quick for that. I think you guys will enjoy that. And then, of course, I'll review Zelda once I finish that, of course. Snipperclips, I haven't decided yet, but I might do that one too. But anyways, regardless, tons of content coming up very soon. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!